what's up, everyone? Welcome to Breaking the Fourth Wall. I am your host tonight, Christina Tali, and with me, as always, is the one and only Matt Cruz
Sup, people?
and Eric Batista.
What's it going on, people?
And we also have with us Star Wars Canon Library, Brian Miller.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
So, um, so who has anything to talk about?
Well, we were talking about up and coming movies and events that's going on, and one thing that we know that just got released, that shall be released either this week or was it released that last week? Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. You got
That was this past weekend. Yep.
You got Kurt Russell playing Peter Quill's father, son. And actually, there's actually two different versions now because you have the movie canon version and you have the comic book version. You have the comic book version of a son who actually was through different incantations being Star-Lord's father. Storyline being pretty much the same, with the special introduction being done during the 2000s with Inhumans. But according to the movie, his father was Ego, the living planet, in the Marvel world. That's the movie version. But in the comic book canon, he's actually the king. He's actually the ruler of a corner of the galaxy. So that's actually quite interesting. I'm wondering why they went with Ego instead of the original royalty bloodline.
This is true. Has anyone actually seen the movie yet?
I did.
I have not.
You have, Eric. Okay.
What?
What is your take on the movie so far?
Oh, it's awesome. It's great from beginning to end. I mean, I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Good storyline. Really kept you into it. Especially with Groot being the troublesome child there. Terrible twos, I would call it.
Oh, brother, I can't wait.
He's very defiant. That's all I gotta say.
All I know is I remember seeing the trailer where Groot with the bomb just run. Everyone's chasing Groot with, and he has this little bomb. He has this freaking bomb in his hand.
That's,
Yep.
Yeah.
that's Rocket. That's Rocket leaving stuff lying around.
Well, Rocket always does.
Oh yeah.
Well, you mentioned how there were two different, I guess, canon timelines at this point. You had the film timeline and the comic timeline. And we know, obviously, Ego, the living planet, wasn't Star-Lord's father in the comics. And the only reason I can think of them doing this is, I mean, there's a lot of speculation about as far as the way Captain America has been handled in the comics, with him actually secretly being a Hydra agent all these years. And, with the death of him and Falcon, or, Bucky becoming Captain America, I think they're trying to show people that they're trying to differentiate the comic universe and the film universe, and they're two completely different things. And just because something happens in the comics doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen in the films. Same thing with Thor. Same thing with Thor now, because in the comics, Thor is a female now. So, I mean,
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. They made Thor female. They did.
Yep.
And yeah, I guess that's an idea. And if you think about it, it's kind of like what they do with alternate timelines anyway, and different universes in both DC and in Marvel. So if you can take it with a grain of salt like that, with certain things, like you'd like to see Star-Lord and the whole Empire and their side of that galaxy. But I think now that I'm thinking about it, with Ego, his father being the Ego, the living planet, it's going to tie deeper into the Infinity Wars saga. It's going to bring it closer to Thanos, because because Ego is an eternal. I mean, he's been there literally since the Big Bang in Marvel, if you will. So that's probably why they're going to do that, and maybe they might actually introduce a way to how to differentiate. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's a very good point there. Anyone else have a take on it? Okay, don't everyone speak at once.
As Eric's like, nope.
So anyway, we
Shit, I
brought up a
might watch
good
the
point
third
about
time.
the Marvel universe being split between the movies and the comic books. I mean, that's something that we've seen also with DC do this very similar things in between even with their TV shows and their movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's something which is, I don't know why they both just seem to be wanting to go this way. Maybe it's to give a different story for people who read the comics as well as the people who watch the movie, so it's something different and something new, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to
Which
before, where if you watch it, it's the same thing as a comic. People probably would lose interest. People who read the comics like, I already know this, or they would start
Yeah.
nitpicking it excessively. I mean, we've all done it.
Yeah.
We've all read the book, and then we've all gone and watched the movie when it comes out, and we're like, you cut a whole section of this book out. Why? Like, the one that comes to mind is actually Jurassic Park. I read the book Jurassic Park
Mhm.
long before I saw the movie, and I had to kind of forget the book to enjoy the movie, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because it was like there was, I mean, huge parts of the book, the huge parts changed, huge parts taken out. Like there was a whole river scene where they're trying to travel down river, which they just axed out of the book. They took it so where Nedry's disappearance, other than the fact that the power was out in the field in the park, was that was the major issue. The other major issue was the fact that T-Rex was running around in the book, and the Jeep that Nedry took had the only gun on the whole island that could take this T-Rex down. So they had to try to
Mhm.
find the Jeep, and a lot more people die in the book, which I guess I understand why they have to change that.
Right.
also another one that comes to mind is if you remember the movie Relic and the book.
Yeah.
They were way different. Like you said, certain
Mhm.
characters survive. Like the Asian doctor, I forgot what his name was, and I read that book. It's like it hit me so quick I couldn't put it down. Type. And then when I saw the movie, I was like completely disappointed. And but going back to the subject matter at hand, that's the same thing with Arrow. Arrow. I was rewatching Arrow because my wife and I started getting back into it. So we rewatched the series and then we came up with the episode of the Huntress. Now I remember who she was and everything like that, but I hadn't seen it in a while, and I was like Helena Burton. No, I was like, oh yeah, that's the Huntress. And my wife Lori, she turns to me, she goes, "Oh, who's that?" I was like, "That's the Huntress." And she goes, "Oh yeah, you told me about her before. In an alternate world, that's Batman and Catwoman's daughter." And I was like, "Yeah, that's
Daughter.
her."
Yeah.
And I was like, "But in this world, she's a mob boss's daughter. But in the New
Yeah.
52, she's once again a mob boss's daughter in this world, and what would be this world, if you will. But she's been fading literally in her storyline. She's been phasing in and out of realities, and they just kind of left it like that. And there's another, and like you said, I think it's actually giving a chance, if you will, for writers to have that well to go into, not to just, you can only have this cup of water. No, you can have a gallon this time, or you can have a cup this time, or you could have just a little trickle just to keep you interested. Why not? I mean, there's been many writers for comic books, many writers for books, many writers for graphic novels, and everybody has their own take and spin. I mean, heck, there's a whole Batman line set in the steampunk era called Gotham Gas Line,
Yeah.
Gotham by Gaslight, and it's a really interesting story. Why not?
Well,
Yeah.
also, I mean, even Walking Dead, like everyone's seen Walking Dead here, I'm sure.
Hell yeah!
Oh yeah.
Except for Eric. Well, Eric just
I can't get into it. I'm
well,
sorry.
Walking Dead,
Wow.
like
How not?
I know, but the thing is, like, there are times they do follow the comic books,
Oh
such
yeah,
as
Mhm.
Glenn's Death is a perfect example by Negan. I mean, they followed
yeah.
that to
Mhm.
the letter. However, they've added characters that weren't in the comic books, just like Daryl, who's pretty
Daryl.
much everyone's
Yeah.
favorite character in the damn show. Like,
Yeah.
and
He was never even there in its
exactly.
conception.
In fact, there's in a
Yeah.
later issue there was a character that was brought into the comic books that resembles Daryl, but it is not Daryl. And that's
Right.
everyone's like, "Oh wow, they brought Daryl." I'm like, "It's not Daryl. It's somebody else." I mean, I've read some of the comics. I have a couple of the volumes of the compendiums, but I haven't read them all yet. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing how some of the stuff varies like dramatically, yet they keep to the nail on other stuff, which I think is kind of an interesting aspect because when you're watching it, you almost have to question: Are they going to follow the timeline, or are they going to do something completely different?
And
Right.
and if they
Which
do something completely different, are we gonna like it?
exactly.
Mhm.
And it's actually not a bad thing because it keeps you guessing. And it's like, you got these people out there who will just automatically go, I know what's going to happen because I've read the comic books. Or I've read this and I've read that. And it's kind of fun to watch them be
Doesn't mean
wrong.
you know Jack. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of fun watching them be wrong once in a while.
Oh yeah.
I know. I'm guilty of that whenever I go to a Marvel movie or something like that, or a DC movie, and I sit there and I'm like, but my wife's the same way with shark movies, so it kind of balances out.
Yeah, I'm kind of that way
Oh,
with
does she like shark?
movies,
Does
too.
she watch? Does your wife watch Sharknado?
She has watched the first one.
Oh
She
God,
couldn't-
no.
I
No,
can't do
but she
it.
didn't watch it. No,
I can't do it.
She makes fun of it because it's so stupid. And
It really is.
Oh my God.
I watched
That's the
the
dumbest set of
preview.
movies ever made.
Well, I watched the preview for Sharknado 3, and I think the one part I was dying just on the preview was the Chippendales dancer like kung fu kicks a shark. I'm like,
Those movies weren't meant to be taken seriously. I really don't
definitely
think they
not.
were.
There's
no way.
I would hope not. It's like that one, like I think it was like Mega Shark or something. It was that was
God.
equally horrible. Like,
If you don't, if we keep this up and bring in Lori in, I'm like, how many horrible bad shark movies? She goes, all of them.
well, Jaws was good. Let's give Jaws respect where it deserves.
Oh yes, Jaws 1, awesome.
Jaws
Jaws
1,
2,
yeah.
Jaws
1.
2 was good.
No.
It wasn't great. It was no Jaws 1. Jaws 2 was an acceptable sequel in my mind. Jaws 3 was
my God.
ridiculous. Jaws 4 should never have been created. Plain and simple. Jaws the Revenge. I'm sorry. It's Jaws the Revenge. Like, now it's a story of a shark that's hunting the Brody family. Like, and it follows him to Jamaica. Like, okay,
Places.
you flew to Jamaica. How does a shark know you went to Jamaica? Did it sniff you out? I didn't know sharks had that good a sense of smell.
They're like, all right, follow this trail of this drop of blood, and we're gonna go down to Jamaica, and I'm gonna cut my finger and come get me. Really? Come on.
I know.
That's-
It's like the whole it's terrorizing SeaWorld. That was pretty bad. And
That's
it's
hilarious.
funny watching it in 2D. Like if
It's
you watch it
hilarious.
when it comes on cable, the movie's actually good for a lot of laughs because the 3D effects are so primitive that when they convert it to 2D, like there's one scene where they have the shark swimming towards the big window. The shark's not even moving. Like it's literally stationary, and its mouth's just going like, ah. It's like,
And it does a cheesy glass effect
yeah.
as it breaks. You're like sitting there going, "What the hell?"
Well, you remember too,
That-
back in that time era too, with 3D effects. Like the 3D effects, they went way overboard to get that 3D effect.
Oh, God,
like,
yeah.
I remember going to Epcot Center and seeing the Michael Jackson 3D thing.
Oh God, Captain EO.
Yeah,
Guilty.
they went
Guilty.
so out of the way to get those 3D effects. This was back in like '89 when I was still a kid. And I still remember that. Like they deliberately, like they would have the finger pointing, like just
Yes.
to see, like just to have that 3D effect of a finger pointing at you.
As it leans into you, it's going to touch you, and you're like sitting there in the seat. You're like, "Oh God, just get it out of my face."
Oh my God. Jaws
Yeah.
3 is one of those that needs to be on Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, definitely. We should do our own version of that one day, just as a side.
We should do a commentary for Jaws 3. Yeah, we really
I'm down.
should.
That would be freaking
I'm-
hysterical.
I'm so in.
All right, so
Oh, God,
coming
yes.
up in a future breaking the fourth wall, Jaws the Revenge or Jaws 3D and our commentary.
Well,
Oh
the,
God.
the commentary that should have been. Seriously, oh my God, I'm glad they actually did bring it back to Netflix. I saw the first episode. It was so over the top, but
it's great.
it's not the original, but man, it's still funny. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
The monster rap in the middle where they were talking about the monsters that terrorize all over everything. Oh my God, I'm like sitting there, I was like, is this really happening? They're hitting the mark. They're kind of hitting the mark.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, it's just some of these movies, you look back at them and it's like, why was this even made?
What? Ninja Turtles: Secret of the Ooze.
Why did you bring that up? Just for that?
I'm just going
just
with.
for that, M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender.
You're gonna make me go into fits, aren't you?
Yes, because it'll be funny.
Oh, Brian's reaction's almost as comical.
Oh,
Okay,
I don't know if I want to be a part of this. I don't know if I don't.
Oh, M. Night Shyamalan, you dropped the ball, you dumb.
Hey, he's starting to make a comeback now, so.
Yeah, I know. I will give him the comeback. He better, damn it, because sorry.
Well, here we go. Here we go. Now we can do a debate. What's the worst movie, The Last Airbender or the Chips movie?
Oh,
The one that just came out?
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, but just based off the trailer, I'm going Chips.
Yes.
No,
You.
I haven't
I'm
seen
going Chips too. I'm sorry. I think it's I think I didn't think it would be possible, but yeah, Chips is the worst movie.
I can't stand it when Hollywood takes these 80s and 90s television shows that were so great and make these stupid R-rated drug humor comedies out of it. You know what I mean? Like they're just
Like
I
21
can't
Jump Street,
stand
stuff
it
like
when
that.
Okay, now I liked 21 Jump Street.
I did too.
enjoy that one quite a bit.
I didn't see that one yet. It's too much for me.
But
Even 22
at the
was
same
kind
time,
of
I
funny,
never
just because of the whole scene
Yeah.
where Ice Cube was about ready to beat up what's his name, Jonah Hill,
Oh,
because he was
God.
sleeping with his daughter. That was
Oh
hysterical.
God!
Like the look
now
on
I
his
gotta-
face was classic.
Do you guys swear on this podcast?
We're
We
not-
can't. We try not to,
Oh,
but it
okay.
does happen.
Gotta
Okay.
substitute
I was
the
gonna
word
quote it, but
somehow.
I can't do it because I just like 3 days ago I was running around my office at work going Schmidt, the captain's daughter, and it was
oh my
it's really
god!
funny you brought that up. So anyway,
The other disaster movie, Brian, would have to be Dukes of Hazzard. Where they had
Oh,
Johnny-
why did you just do that, Eric?
Yes!
that one physically
Actually,
hurt.
that one was painful, but was even more painful was the sequel.
They
I
made
didn't-
another one.
Yes,
They
they
made
did,
a
but
sequel and it
say
didn't
that
even
one.
have the cast of the first one. They had like lesser known actors that I can't even be bothered to remember who they are. And
Yeah,
One of those straight to DVD things.
I hope it was. 'Cause
I
if
think
it-
I
It
think it was. I think it was. Yeah, oh god. Well, at least I know where to hit you up now. Dukes of Hazzard.
well, we can actually talk about a lot of those
Oh.
fun, like horrible sequels that never should have been. Just like the Lost Boys sequel, The Lost Tribe.
Oh, I own that. I almost.
Yeah, I've got all three of them. I've got all three of them and Queen of the Damned,
Oh, I had Queen of the
all in
Damned.
one pack.
I'll give Tribe a pass because I was willing to forgive Corey Feldman because if you watch the edited scene with him and Corey Haim, if they would have put that in the movie, it would have made the whole movie. Honestly. Because you could see the heartfelt argument that they've been waiting to have on screen was that argument. And I was like, why did you not put that part in the movie? Was that too real? I mean, really? Was that too real? I mean, because you could almost see like they were about to cry on each other's shoulder from all the pain that they caused each other and trying to get back together now being friends. And it's like, put that in the movie. That was perfect because it would make sense for Edgar. Was it Edgar? Was he Edgar or Allen? I couldn't remember.
I can't remember.
Oh, you caught me off guard.
It was Edgar. Allen was the other brother. It was Edgar. Edgar, and oh god, and I can't
Are
remember.
you sure?
Yes, because it was Edgar and Allen. Because it was Edgar and Allen. The
So
frog
you're
brother.
right. You're right.
But
But
Yep.
you do know that Corey Feldman and Corey Haim, Corey Feldman had a TV show and had Corey Haim on it.
yeah, it was
And
the tale of two Corys.
No, it was just the
Yeah.
two Corys, I thought.
Yeah,
yeah, but just the two Corys. God, that was a disaster.
Well, look how like
I know.
well, Haim was trying to rehab off of drugs, and Corey Feldman is a vegan because of his wife turned him that way. So it was a definite little bit too different of characters to get along, but it made for actually a pretty decent reality show.
For a bit.
Yeah.
For a bit, yeah. Speaking about shows, one show I've been watching on Netflix and just started season 2 is Sense8.
Ah.
Oh, it's
I keep seeing that one on there, but I haven't clicked on
amazing.
it yet.
It's
Is it good?
Oh, it's amazing. Like it's a little slow taking off. Like I'm gonna be honest, I felt it was a little slow, But
Well, I
once
don't
it
mind a
takes
slow burn
off,
story.
yeah, once it takes off, and it's like,
Does it?
yeah, I mean, and it's kind of funny too because they had a actor swap halfway through the first season, and it was pretty noticeable. Like it went from like it went from one guy to the. I'm like sitting there looking. I'm like, that is not the same guy. What is going on here? And then later I found out that there was a couple scenes where what they call the sensates, they have, like if one person has sex, it ends up they all enjoy it, and they all pretty much, I hate to say it, but go into a giant orgy almost. And there's a gay character. He's a Mexican actor, like action star, and he's gay. And there's also a trans woman in there who's like a hacker. Each one has like special skills, which makes it really interesting. So they all help each other out. Like there's an African guy. He's a bus driver, but he had an issue with
Mm-hmm.
the trans woman, and they fired him for it because they're like, well, she's doing her job perfectly. You're kind of not, so. But yeah, there's a
Huh.
African guy. He's a bus driver, so he's like an excellent driver. There's this German guy who's he's like a master thief, and he's just crazy to boot, like kind of like almost mobster. But then there's the trans girl who's like an expert hacker. There's this lady in Korea in Seoul who's she's a bank manager. She was a bank manager, and then she went to jail. But she was also like an expert MMA fighter. There's a Chicago cop. Trying to think of who else is in this. Oh yeah, and a DJ from London who's Icelandic, which I think she's going to be. There's this
Huh.
one's called the Mother. I think she's going to be the new mother, which is going to give birth to the next set of Sense8s. Which is, I mean, it's a really interesting show. And there's these hunters that are. There's one guy's able to get inside their heads if they make eye contact with him, and he's able to like see everything they see and stuff. It's a really interesting show. It's definitely a unique take on, something different for once. Because honestly, with Hollywood, really am tired of the same regurgitated crap.
Yeah. Same here.
Like, how many times do we need a dance movie? You got the guy from the wrong side of the tracks and and like the classical ballerina dancer, and they get together to do some street dance. I mean, how many times are we gonna have that same movie written?
Or
Seriously.
some poor schlub trying to get the hot chick, and she's way out of his league, and he gets the good advice from somebody else, and next thing you know, it's a rom com for no reason. Uh,
Exactly. Exactly.
Or Batman's origin story.
How
or
many of
anybody.
those do we need?
Oh yeah, how
Oh
many?
my
Yeah,
God.
or the rewritings. Stop with the rewritings. It was good the first time. We got it. I will say this: the one thing that I liked about the new Spider-Man is what they went in with Mary and Richard Parker's origins. I never thought about them as being like some sort of scientific agents of special interest. I was like, I always thought they just died in a car accident.
That's actually the way. That's actually the way the Spider-Man Sinister Six novel that was written. That's actually they kind of based Peter Parker's parents in that film off of those parents because it was the same thing. They died in a plane crash. They were these super secret spies, and I mean,
Yeah.
it was that's essentially where they got that idea from.
Yeah, like they were hinting that they were almost shield agents of some sort.
Mhm.
I didn't. And good pull on me because I remember that and I forgot about it. When you said it, I was like, oh, yeah.
Shame.
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's no shame in forgetting, my dear. There's no shame.
I know. I'm playing with you.
Eh,
Good lord.
I forgot. You ever forget? It happened to me.
I always forget. I forget my own name some days.
Tell me
I
about
can't
it.
think of a single thing I've ever forgotten.
Ha ha ha.
I see
Good
what
one.
you did there.
Good one. Good one.
Can't.
Good one.
Anyway.
So Eric, you've been
Hey,
kind of
so-
quiet. You got anything you want to add?
I'm pretty much good.
Okay. So what were we saying, Brian?
We also got the It trailer, the new It trailer
Yeah.
earlier this week. Eric looks excited.
I'm actually, honestly, I'm turning around on this. Like, I was originally very skeptical of it because I hate remakes. Remakes
Yeah.
annoy me because I almost want to go in and watch the movie just to nitpick it and see what they screwed up. Like, But
Oh
I've
yeah.
been watching these. I've been watching them, and I'm starting to get a little excited for it. Like, I actually want to
The
go
new
see it
trailer
at this point. It
living
looks.
crap at it.
What was that?
The new trailer literally scared the crap out of
Yeah,
me.
I know
Like not literally.
exactly.
But,
It's yeah, it's
it's
I want to. I
it's good.
actually do. I actually want to see it because I said before once. I read the book. I want to see
Mhm.
what more they're gonna go into, because there was.
Yeah.
It was a mini series on TV, but there's only so much they're gonna show in 4 hours. And
Right.
and yeah, I know you run into the same problem with a 2 hour movie, but you can do it. You can do a little bit more detail in a 3 hour movie and with a bit of better budget in Hollywood than you could on a TV miniseries. But that's on the
Right.
flip side. On a TV miniseries, you can go into much more detail if you know how to arc the story at certain points. And on
Right.
TV, they tried to do the best they could because there's certain parts they can't show on anywhere. Sorry, I know I read that part of the book, but there was so much more that they did leave out, such as the background story behind the neighborhood bully. He had a
Yeah.
messed up. I have to say messed up. I know we're on radio. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
he had a messed up background story, and his homeboy, yeah, really, 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 they were very close. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, that's kind of understating it, but yeah,
yeah.
close.
I know. Yeah, well, yeah, I know. I don't want to give too much of a spoiler either, if anybody's
right,
interested.
right.
But I would like to see them go into more detail about everybody. Each kid had much more detailed stories about the town from their perspective that they touched on in the miniseries, but they need to get deeper because it makes more sense why they went after it, why they were chosen as the Lucky Seven, why they were who they were, why they were so different from everybody in town. The book put that in there. Don't cut that out. I'm sorry, I'm more about character development. I love a good story arc, but if the characters aren't believable, you cannot have a cohesive story.
Yep.
Well, that actually, what do you think about the new It, Eric? What's your feelings?
I mean, I haven't exactly checked out the trailers yet, but I plan on it. I mean, I would hope they would be more insight in each individual character, like Matt's saying, so we get to learn more about it. Because, from the first It, you got a little bit of each person, but I'd like to see more of each character, of their background and storyline that led them up into being the 7 selective kids. You know what I mean? Because I got to get the original anyway because I forgot so much of it. I mean, there's reason behind it. I don't know if I would like to share it, but just to give a little insight to Brian and Matt, I had brain cancer. So I'm a recovering, cancer patient. I've been good now for 11 years. So so I have to watch a lot of movies again so I get familiar with the storyline.
Oh, that's
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
bro. I got PTSD from my time in the Middle East, man. There's no shame in having issues that we have to deal with. Okay.
Oh, I know. I listen a lot because it also helps, refresh my memory. And I can't wait to see it. I'm like dying to see it. Christ, I was like back in when did it come out? 88.
I think it was 88, 89.
Yeah, somewhere around about there.
No,
yeah.
it was in
No, it was in the 90s.
It was 90s.
Early 90s. It was early 90s. It was early. I was in junior high school.
I believe it was 1990 because in the movie the creature comes back like every 27 years or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It comes back every 27 years, and then this is 27 years after the original It came out. So now the new one is coming out this year.
Yeah. You're right.
27 years.
27 years.
Now we're 27 years after the original It came out, so it's kind of following that pattern. It's kind of chilling, actually.
Yeah, you're kind of right on that.
So what's the timeline for this It? Is it going to be like in the 80s? Is it going to take place or the 90s?
I believe it's going to take place in the 50s like the original did.
That's what the trailers were kind of hinting at.
Yeah, that's what it's pointing towards with the cars and just how everyone was dressed. It seemed very 50s still, like the original. And the book follows.
They really wouldn't have to change it too much because that was a good enough points in history for them.
Yeah,
They
you don't
did,
need to modernize the story. You just need to retell it in a modern retelling.
right.
That's really all you have to do. There's
Yeah,
there's
touch
a
up the
difference.
touch up the touch up the graphics, touch up the
Mhm.
effects.
That's I can't wait for the graphics, man.
Oh yeah,
Fix
because I
the
want to see
mistakes that you messed up on the miniseries.
Yep.
exactly. I like to see what the new design because you remember it being the giant spider. Spoiler alert. But if you hadn't read the book or seen the movie, I would like to
If
see
they
what they're
haven't
going to
seen,
design
yeah.
with it. I would like to see the
Oh yeah,
design.
because I wouldn't even. I mean, even at this point, I wouldn't mind an entire redesign of it. To be completely honest, just something to kind of update it, because like society nowadays is so desensitized to horror that you almost have to up the game every time something new comes out just to scare the crap out of somebody.
hmm And with that, the subtleties I see. If they did the subtleties right, like with shadowing and lighting, and not don't
Hmm.
see the thing about CGI is you can't really do it in the dark too well. Even though they did do it well in Star Wars and the Rogue One, but with the darkness can't and the light,
It's hard.
you
It's
have
hard to get the
it's
lighting right out.
exactly. So this
Yeah.
should be really interesting if they can do it right. And I'm sorry, that first spider, it wasn't that scary. It was kind of comical in a way. The deadlight, the position of the deadlights was right, but I would like to see if they could reposition them, like maybe to its head, or maybe its arms or something like that. Because it never said where the deadlights were in the book. It
Hmm.
never was. Never did.
Hmm.
But I'd like to see if they're going to reposition that and let's see, make it more. Yeah, you're right. Up it up.
Hmm.
Get like do some research on some different spiders and add it all together.
That's called
Hmm.
up the ante.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just freak them out. Freak them out. You know. And because I remember when I was a kid, I used to sit in the theaters of the horror movies, and I'd be like jumping and diving behind, my friend's shoulder or
Hmm.
something like that. I was a wuss back in those days. But then as I watched more horror movies and I got desensitized to it, I was like I wanted
Yeah.
them to up it.
Yeah, get it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
You
was
would.
looking for
You
that
would have.
next good scare like when you were a kid.
You would
Exactly.
have never made it as a kid in one of those 4D theaters they have now, where like when you see mice running on the floor, you feel the air blowing on your leg and stuff.
Oh,
Makes
I
it
would.
feel like it's actually you'd have never made it as a kid
Oh no, I
in one
probably
of
would.
those.
I probably would have peed my pants. I'll tell you that. When I was a kid, trust me, it was bad. I know. I don't know what
I
happened to
probably
me.
would have
It's
been
just like
airborne.
it's like I got tired of it and I just started just going out on my own doing stuff.
Mhm.
Well, actually, that brings up an interesting conversation piece for the second part we can do as well.
Okay.
So we'll let you guys think about this now. I'm going to put it out there so our listeners out there and our viewers can hear this. But second quarter, we're going to talk about horror movies we saw when we were younger that scared us half to death, that we've watched we've watched later on in life and just found to be corny or not scary.
Oh hell yeah.
Yes, yes, this is gonna be fun.
This will be
Yeah.
fun. I mean, figured I just
I wish it was Halloween just so we could delve so deep into it.
well,
Oh.
we will be airing on Halloween, so
Okay.
or around Halloween. I
I
don't
got
think I
mine.
should be on Halloween. I got mine already, so but we're not going to talk about
Yes,
this
so
till
do
the
I.
second section because so everyone out there in Radio Land's going to have to pay attention and listen.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
That's called suspense. So anyway, as we were talking about it is. I mean, it. I definitely need to see this movie. Like, by the way it looks, I hope it's gonna scare me like when I was a kid when I saw the original It. I was.
Mhm.
I don't remember how young I was, but I was young. I was probably maybe. I'm not gonna tell my age because I'm not gonna let anyone know how old I am because a woman never reveals her age. So, ha! You
Oh,
thought I was gonna
stop
give that
it.
one up. Anyway,
I'll say
Easy,
my
easy
man.
cop
So what
out.
year did? So what year you saw it in 90 when it came out?
no, I saw it probably. I remember it was my mom recorded it on VHS. My mom used to record movies all the time on VHS. I remember it used to be 3 movies per VHS because that's what would fit on super long play.
Yeah, I know, right?
That just gives you an idea. And I remember she
because I had
recorded
A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Jedi all on one tape.
Well, my parents would
And it was
never
just back
actually
to back.
coordinate. Like, we would have VHS tapes. It would be like Jaws, Convoy, then like something completely different at the end of it. Like the movies my parents recorded, like there was no theme to these movies. It was like, oh, there's space on that tape. Record it on that one.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the way it was in my house too, growing
So
up.
you'd have to like look, and you'd have to look at all the titles scribbled on the labels on the back of VHS. Like y'all don't know how
Nope.
lucky you have it today. Like we
I
know the
know.
struggle. And then if you wanted to watch the second or third movie on the tape, you had to sit there and fast forward.
You had to
Stop,
fast
check
forward through the first one, yeah.
and then
I know,
check
and
it.
if-
Oh no, I went too far. Rewind, and then like 15 minutes later, you might find the spot at the beginning of the second or third movie. Everyone
Oh,
here,
God.
I think everyone in this in this
Yeah.
discussion right now knows the pain. Do you know the
Oh,
pain?
Yeah.
hell
And
yeah.
then there was no skip button to get past the previews either. You had to click. Nope.
And you had to see
keep
it in
going.
fast mode, watch
Yeah.
it go. Okay. Stop now. Oh, God.
Oh,
And
my
then if
God.
you had an old enough VCR, if you had an old VCR, you had to sit there and stand there because you didn't have a remote. And then you had to sit there and screw
Right,
with the
yeah.
tracking on it, so it didn't have
Yes.
lines all
Mhm.
through it, and it wasn't never perfect. You just had good enough. Like with the tracking, it was just good enough. Like, because I had
Oh,
this old
God.
Savannah VCR when I was a kid. It was my grandmother's. My grandmother gave me this thing. It was one of those old top loaders.
Oh, my God.
Oh my God! Where like the lid popped open
Yeah,
and
the
you
top
slid
popped
it
up,
in
you
and
slid tape and
yeah.
slammed it back down. That thing had so much spring tension that I used to launch action figures off the top of it. True story. Like I would put like something on top of it, hit the button to see how far I can launch it with this thing, and it launched pretty far. I had that, and I had
Seeing
this
kids
old
nowadays-
sharp 13. Yeah, here's another idea how you guys are spoiled today. My TV I had as a kid, my first TV was a black and white, like 11-inch, but it had built-in Pong,
Yeah.
so it was awesome, and I wish I still had it. It was a Sampo. I remember this TV. I wish I still had
You
it.
had a TV in your room? I didn't have jack, man.
Oh, we're gonna go into this now. Oh, you had a TV. You're back in my day.
How do I dare I had to turn on the light and do shadow puppets to entertain myself?
But
Okay?
no, my parents
Back
gave me
in
this
my
old
day.
TV, and then my brother bought me a TV for like my 12th birthday, and it was a sharp 13-inch, and it still had the twisty dials
Ooh.
on the side of it, where you had to like try to tune it, then you had to screw with the rabbit ears, and yeah,
Drug was real.
the struggle was real. And then you get it right, and you're like, yes, and you go sit down, and then just because you moved, it no longer is right again.
Yeah. And now kids nowadays get ticked off because mommy and daddy got them the DVD version of a movie instead of the Blu-ray.
Right?
What a bunch of little buttheads, man.
I mean,
I would have been
honestly,
I know.
I watch DVD, I watch Blu-ray. There's not that much difference in quality. There is a
There
difference,
really isn't.
but
No.
there's not that much. It's getting to a point. It's like Apple and their Retina display. Like the Retina
Yeah.
display, their thing is Retina display. Is the pixels are so small on a Retina display that the human eye can't recognize them. It's the same
Right.
thing when you start getting into 4K stuff like that. Yes, you do notice some difference, but you're getting to a point now where the human eye can't even process it. It's more just bragging rights. Like, what's next? You have an 8K
Mhm.
TV? I mean, seriously, like. Have you seen
Yeah,
these 4K computers, what you have to build to get a computer to run 4K?
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about quad video cards in these things just to run 4K, and the benchmarks are still horrible. I mean,
See, I can kind of see the difference between DVD and Blu-ray. Kind of. I mean, if you look really
Yeah.
close, you can see it. But I see no difference whatsoever between Blu-ray and 4K. I see nothing. I could put them side by side, and I cannot tell the difference.
because you're getting
Well, it's-
past that point of the
and it's
human
like-
retina. The human eye can only
Yeah,
see
well,
so
well-
much.
Like they're making 4K TVs. It's like, okay.
What's
Yeah.
the point?
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
got
how
4K
real?
TVs.
How far do you keep pushing the technology until you just rent the actors to act it out in your living room?
That would be awesome.
I mean,
I wonder how
like,
much it would cost
seriously,
to
I
have
mean-
them reenact Star Wars. I would pay
Well,
to
that's
see
the-
that.
Oh.
Come on, right in front
Yeah,
of us.
be able
Let's
to stop the actors and then
Oh.
punch Jar Jar in the face and then sit back down. I'm sorry. Get up. That's for the movie at. Yeah, Jack. Yeah,
Oh my God,
jackass. And sit
don't,
down.
Don't get me started.
Anyway.
Oh God, please don't get me started.
No,
Anyway.
but yeah, you're right. I like the separation between. I hate to say it, because when you start breaking that reality and fantasy, people have that problem now psychologically. Now you're going to get the technology that's going to if you start introducing technology that's going to allow them to do this, we're going to have a very different world in the next 20 years, and it's going to be, I'm sorry, maybe my technophobe's coming out with this, but this is going to get very dangerous for people. I mean,
it already is.
Yeah, it's bad enough we have, 20 different ways to communicate with people, and the hardest thing for people to do is to literally sit in front of each other and just talk.
Yeah.
That's the hardest, and it's, go ahead, Eric.
But just look at it. Now you got driverless vehicles that are driving around on the West Coast. Like Uber. They just had taxi cars with driverless. So I was scared crap, when I was like, I can't get in a car that's going to drive me somewhere. How do I know it's not going to malfunction and take me into the river? I don't know what it's going to do.
Yeah. Oh, come on. It goes back to the old GPS joke. Like they had it on the remember the Nationwide Mayhem commercials?
Yeah.
Yeah, where he was pretending to be, where he was sitting down, he was curled up in the middle of the middle section of the car where the console was, and he was acting like the GPS, and it was like, turn right now. It turns him down a one-way street, and he crashes. It's like, I mean, even that technology. I mean, when Apple Maps came out, even when Google Maps first came out, the stuff was so far off, like par sometimes that it was dangerous. Like you almost had to still kind of realize. Like I remember back in the day using MapQuest. Like printing out the directions.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And then looking at the directions and be like, unnamed road. Oh crap!
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Well, these directions are junk.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Oh my god!
But that's
we're all getting led towards the world that You guys ever seen WALL-E?
Yes.
Exactly.
We're really getting led towards that.
Yeah, we really are. Yeah, I agree fully.
Actually, the World Science Council, is it? Where they have Stephen Hawking's, there's a top shelf scientists from around the world that actually have had the discussion of artificial intelligence, and they said it.
Yeah, that's
probably
not a good idea.
Yeah, they said they've all said that it is a possibility within. I hate to say it. What's in our twilight years of our years, it's a possibility that it can happen. And they said somewhere around the year 2060s. That's scary as hell.
That's not that far away.
Oh, thank God I'll be dead by then. Thank God I'll be dead by then.
But I don't think we may not be dead by then.
I'll be dead by then.
That was going at a power curve, looking at technology 2 years ago now. Yeah. Think about how many leaps we've made in this short time from literally, from us just talking about the VCR technology. Look at the leaps of technology we have just from entertainment wise, and to now.
Well, look at
cell
phones. Computers in general. Like in the 80s, in the 70s, no one had it. The home PC wasn't a thing. In the 80s, they started. Now everyone just about has a computer. Everyone here right now in this group and are breaking the fourth wall owns at least one computer. And I say at least one computer because some of us may own like 5.
Well,
I consider this a computer.
I was gonna say, are we including cell phones and tablets?
These are pretty much computers.
Yeah,
you're right.
I consider these phones. Computers. Yeah.
It's like a computer.
Yeah, I got my
This thing has got an octa-core processor. My PC doesn't even have that.
Jesus,
what
man!
What kind of is that? Seriously.
I don't even know, to be honest. It's won't turn the light off. It's a Moto Plays Droid or something like that.
I mean,
anyway.
But this is something that's a possibility. My idea is, is like, and I hate to say this, I keep looking at it, I was like, has not anybody watched Terminator 1, 2, and heck, if you want to go at 3.
Skynet.
I was just thinking that too, and I almost wore my Skynet shirt today too, and I should have because it would have been perfect for this segment. But
and Skynet is a possibility. Even when they explained it in the third movie, if you were paying attention, I know it was kind of hard to get through because it just wasn't. It wasn't. They needed to change the battery. Sorry, that one was almost dead. You know what I mean? But the part that he said in the end that actually made me did give me a bit of chills is like Skynet wasn't a computer program or a database. It was us. It was the internet.
Yeah.
It was every person who has a computer in their home, in their dorm room, or in an office or somewhere. We created it, and then we implemented it. We didn't realize we were at the hands of our own destruction. And I'm sitting there going, oh, man, why you got to get all profit now? The movie was bad, but now I'm going to start to like it, because of that one speech alone.
Well, there's a bunch of movies that drop little nuggets of intelligence about our downfall like that. Like another one, Jurassic Park, the first Jurassic Park. Ian Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum's character, dropped
My favorite
an immense, nugget of truth. He goes, yes, but you're so preoccupied in whether you could, you didn't think and stop and think if you should.
If you should.
And that's the truth in this world. We're so preoccupied with, oh, can we do it? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. You don't turn around and goes, okay, we might be able to do this, but is it a good idea to do it? Should we go this way? Or should we just go, something, let's just leave that here and work on this cure for cancer over here?
Hey, as much as I'm loving this conversation, am I the only one that realizes we're really far off topic?
I guess. Yeah, I know. We kind of. We started with comic books, and now we're talking about world domination by computers.
This is what happens
Yeah,
when
exactly.
Chris is not allowed around to corral us. So it's
Smooth
his fault.
transition. Yeah.
It's something. It's whatever this week. Honestly, I was asked to host tonight last minute because Chris fell ill. So I'm doing the best I can with. I wasn't prepped. So. But
I hope he gets better.
I'm sure he better get better by Saturday, because Saturday is our live appearance at Comic Collections in Feasterville.
Yes, I can't wait.
So if you want to see us all live, definitely myself, Matt, Eric. I know Brian is probably a little bit too far of a journey for you to show up, but
yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I'm in Kansas, and I got wheat harvest coming up in the next few weeks, so my odds of going anywhere for the next 2 months are 0.
Oh, I'm
yeah,
sure.
I can only imagine, man.
Yeah,
That's gotta be a tough job.
I'm sure.
Boy.
So do you actually live on a farm, or
No, I actually live in town. I work at a grain elevator outside the next town over.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but still a country boy at heart, though.
Hey, it ain't nothing wrong with it.
No, not at all. But
No.
we have to take a break right now for Radiocast FM, so play some really awesome music and to get some words in from our sponsors, and we will be back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to Breaking the Fourth Wall. I am your host, Christina Tali, and still with me is Matthew Cruz.
Hey,
Eric Batista.
Yo.
And Brian Miller. So, as we
Still
promised
kicking.
in the first half of this show, we were going to discuss horror movies that were scared us half to death as kids, but when we kind of watched them when we were older, they were just really, really lame. So who wants to start this segment off?
okay, I'll start it off. I'll say the movie that scared me the most because it was the era of talking toys, Child's Play.
Oh,
Seeing it as an
I
adult.
thought you were about to take mine for a second.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm glad I didn't.
No, you're good.
Child's Play scared the hell out of me.
No.
Because, it was the era of talking dolls that we started getting, My Buddy, Teddy Ruxpin, all that other stuff. And I'm sorry. Yeah, and yes, if you haven't tried putting a regular tape in the back of a Teddy Ruxpin, you haven't lived till you try to see that toy mess up. Because it's hilarious. You put in a wrap tape, his eyes go half shut and his mouth stays wide open. It's like, "Argh." And that's scary in itself. But honestly, Child's Play scared the hell out of me as a kid. But then I watched it as a teenager, and I was like, I could tell the difference. When they show him coming down the chimney, and it's a dude it's a kid in a suit coming down the chimney, and they made everything to scale to make him look smaller. And I was like, God, that's so bad. I was like, why was I scared of this?
Okay, so Brian, why don't you do yours
No,
next
hey,
so no one else can take it?
completely right. I'm not entirely sure this constitutes horror. I think the second one did more horror than the first one, but and no shame, man. Gremlins. The first Gremlins when I was a kid scared the absolute crap out of me. I lost sleep. I had nightmares about Gremlins. I mean, up until I was like 16, I had nightmares about Gremlins. And then these damn Furbies came out, and
Oh God!
like I cannot handle Furbies now because of Gremlins. I can't do it. It's just Gizmo's the cutest little guy on the face of the planet, but Stripes is a wow. He's a jerk.
You know what's really
Stripes
funny
is a
about
jerk,
that?
dude.
You're talking about the Furbies. I have to touch on this real quick. Matt knows where I'm going with this. When I was like 20 years old, I had a Furby. And
Oh, God.
I got really bored one day and I skinned it. So I took all its skin off and I turned it and it looked like Terminator Furby. I even painted one of the eyeballs red.
Yes.
And it was awesome looking.
Oh,
And then I got really bored and I wired one of those old Radio Shack multi-voltage adapters to it. So I started switching it up.
Jesus.
When I got to 6 volts, it was hysterical because I just started talking really fast. At 9 volts, it spoke really fast and then started smoking. That was it died.
See, the Furby thing. I mean, my sister had one. I have a younger sister that I don't talk to a whole lot anymore, and she had one of the like first gen Furbies, and then she taught this stupid thing my name, and then she let it watch the Child's Play movies because remember they used to watch TV and learn. She would let it watch Chucky. And then it would start making these dark humor jokes and scare the crap out of me. And then like 10, 15 years later, she got like the second gen ones, the ones that could articulate their beaks a lot better. And you could make them talk back and forth. And she said she wanted one for her birthday. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I'll get it for you. And then I never want to see it again. Okay. So I buy this thing. It's in the box. And it didn't even have like the little circle on the box. You could stick your finger and hit the try me button. It was just in a box. And it's sitting in the passenger seat of my car. And my mother was following me. And the thing started talking in the box on its own. So I like whip the car onto the side of the road, jump out, throw it in my mother's car. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm done. I don't ever let me anywhere near one of these things again.
Oh my God.
And then she taught it my name. And then it started making these dark jokes about me. And I'm like, I hate those things. Like I can't even handle like the stupid McDonald's plastic ones with the roller in the back would make his eyes go back and forth. I can't even handle those. And it all stemmed from Gremlins. Like Gremlins just, God, I watch it now and I'm like, this is actually entertaining. But when I was a kid, man, I bawled. I literally peed myself watching that movie.
Oh my God.
Like it was just scared. It literally traumatized me for the rest of my life. That movie has an effect on me for the rest of my life.
Oh my God.
Okay, Eric, your turn.
Mine is going to be Aliens, the first one. I remember having terrible nightmares of aliens, and my brother used to tease me all the time when we used to go out to play. He's like, Eric, you better watch your back. Aliens coming. And I was always looking around, no matter what. Aliens did it for me. But when I watched it, I'm like, this movie wasn't that bad. Because I freaked out when that thing came out of the guy's stomach. That was it for me. I ran. I left the room. I was like, that's it.
That's a good one.
It was like every time I felt like I had a stomach ache. It's like, I hope not one of them is going to pop out of me.
Pepto Bismol wasn't going to fix
you can always
that.
play the trick with people with that. And if you swallow watermelon seeds, that's what would happen to you.
Oh, that stupid childhood rumor.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess it's my turn now. Mine would actually, it was a movie. It wasn't as big as the movies you guys said, but when I was young, it was a movie called Playroom. And the movie scared the living hell out of me when I was a kid. Same thing as I had complete nightmares about this movie. I probably developed a very early form of PTSD because of this movie. It scared me so bad. And I actually watched it when I was about 20, 21 years old. And I'm looking at this I rented it from Blockbuster. That gives you an idea how long
you're 20 or 21 years old. How long ago was that?
Oh, he's probing now.
He's trying. It's okay.
Oh well,
Not gonna
maybe,
work.
maybe next time.
But yeah, I mean, I rented it from Blockbuster, and we were watching it, and it was just like, why was I even afraid of this movie? It is so bad, like, for real.
Well, what's the
Yes.
name of the title?
It's called Playroom.
I think
I never
I think
heard of it.
everybody has that one. Yeah, neither did I. I think everybody has that one movie that they look back on and just still almost wet themselves thinking about it.
Okay, well, let's go with
You know,
that.
I mean,
Okay, what horror movie did you see as a kid that still scares the living hell out of you?
ooh. When do you guys want to go first? Because I got to think.
I got to think about this one too. I got to say the one that still kind of holds up that gives me the creeps a little bit. Actually, there's two: The Exorcist and The Omen.
Ooh, good ones.
Ooh, Exorcist. Yeah, those both really good.
I actually have seen The Exorcist. I finally did watch The Exorcist because I'm sorry, I just never got around to it, and everyone's always explained about it. And I've seen snippets of it, so I've seen all the best parts. But that part still holds up when after she gets possessed. You're still sitting there going, "Dear God, this is horrible." But The Omen, certain parts really get to you, but still the creepiest scene in that whole movie, actually, is a mistake. It's when it's the end of the movie, the camera pans down to the little kid, and he starts smiling. The part you don't see, the part that they edited out, because the director almost started giggling because he said, "All right," because he told the child, "Now the camera's going to pan down to you, and you look into the camera, but don't smile. Just look into the camera." Well, the kid started giggling. Then the director started giggling, and then he started like smiling, but he didn't laugh. And then when they put the music to it, they just wanted it. They just tested it in the film room, and they're like, "This is creepier than hell. Keep it."
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
whoa. Even still now to this day, I was like, that kid's evil, man. He's evil.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go with the original Poltergeist.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
my
The
choice,
original.
too.
Oh, I'm sorry,
okay.
man. Yeah, the original Poltergeist, man.
It's all right, I got another one.
The Poltergeist scares me to the point where as bad as I want to see the remake they did of it, which I heard was phenomenal, I haven't had the balls to sit down and watch it yet.
Well, I think what also gets me with that movie, I will just add to this real quick as well. One of the things that does get me with that movie is the one part where they're running, where they're trying to escape the house and all those dead bodies pop up out of the ground.
Mm-hmm.
They used real corpses for that, which really kind of...
Did they really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah, they
Yes.
used
I did not
real
know that.
corpses for that movie.
Oh, I did not know that either.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Yes. What do you?
I did not know that.
I was reading the
You've
same
heard-
movie rumors that are actually true, and that was one of the things I was in there. Yeah, the corpse, because the fake ones they had looked too fake. So they managed to
my
get a bunch
God.
of, like, dead bodies from somewhere. I'm not going to ask where they got them from or anything like that, because that's not really my business.
Oh my! I never knew that.
But
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
yeah, I think that's one of the reasons that movie still creeps me out. But I'm going to let Eric go so I can think of another one now.
Jesus.
I'm going to say the Amityville Horror,
Ooh,
the
that's
house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that still creeps me out. Even when I watch it now, I'm like, oh God. I mean, I can
Yeah.
just imagine dealing with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That one still holds up today too.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
The Amityville Horror. That house was legendary growing up in New York, man. Everybody went by it. I actually have seen it several occasions when I was a kid. Because first time it was my dad was like, "Hey," he goes, he goes, "You see that house? Never go there." And I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "We just came from the mall, having a good time. Why not go there?" I was like, "It's abandoned." He's like, and that's when he told me about how it was where it originally stemmed from. And I was like, "Whew, that's messed up."
I've read the book of
Yeah.
Amityville Horror, which goes even more depth than the movie does, and yeah, don't think that house. I would ever want to step foot in that house, to be honest.
Wow.
But
See, I've watched a lot of documentaries on it, but I've never been anywhere near it, obviously. But I've watched a lot of documentaries on it, and I mean, a lot of true story accounts. Even after the events that the film was based on, other families that have lived in that house that had the same kind of things happen, and it's crazy to listen to. I mean, especially when they have literal physical evidence of this stuff happening. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. The scratch marks and all the other stuff on people and the actual documentations that the Warrens made. Forget it, man.
Even though they've tried to prove time and time again that Amityville was a hoax.
Yeah, everyone that does comes home with a lot more information that they can't even reveal or even quantify it, in definition.
Well, I would never, even if they try to say I got $1 million for we go stay in the house, I'm going to say hell no.
I was like, I want the money up front. I want to check it out. I want to make sure that I can spend it.
Well, as far as I know right now, I think there is people living in that house now, and the house was like pretty severely remodeled. Like the iconic windows are gone. Like they changed the iconic windows, those like quarter moon windows.
Right.
They changed those out, and they like redid the entire house.
And the people survived the remodeling?
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. Because you start remodeling something like that, you start taking off a lot of crap. You don't need to be,
For rule one of a haunted house: don't start remodeling without. I'm sorry.
You leave everything where the hell it is.
If you want to remodel, you talk to the house as if it's a person. I know that sounds stupid, but if it's got living entities, it's just a respect thing.
Well, I mean, yeah, perfect example is that is Byberry in Philly. Eric knows Byberry.
What are you going to get from the house? No, you're not changing my windows.
But Eric knows Byberry very well, right, Eric? We all know.
Hey,
anyone from Philadelphia area knows Byberry Mental Institution. The thing was about 5 years ago, Eric, they were starting to turn that into condos. Like they were taking the old building and they were turning it into condos. And then out of nowhere, within like a year after they started, they literally ripped the whole buildings down. Everything got torn down. They put a 55 and over townhome community in there now.
Well, they figure if the dead and the over 55 will have something to talk about.
But
I guess.
Still, it's kind of funny. They spent all that money because they were pretty far along in the remodel to turn it into condos, and then they turned around, and they ripped the whole thing down.
Yep.
No, I'm looking at a picture of it right now. You're right. They did remodel the crap out of it. Those windows are gone. Mm-hmm. But as of right now, it is on the market for $850,000.
They'll never sell it.
Yeah, they will. They got some horror junkie in there, like they use, like probably has already been a few times.
Call Rob Zombie.
I feel bad for the real estate agent. This Melissa Allison. I actually feel bad for her.
Call Rob Zombie. He'll buy it.
Yeah.
All right, so now let me talk about my movie,
actually,
which I just had to change, but that's okay.
Sorry, guys.
This is another one that still gets me to this day really badly, actually, now I think about it. It's the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh!
Because that movie was just so twisted, and I watched a documentary where they talked about the making of the movie, and the stuff those actors went through to film that movie alone.
Yeah.
Like the one part where the guy's laying on the sidewalk, he's laying on the road. His jaw is actually dislocated at that point, and he had like second and third degree burns on his face from laying on the hot asphalt. But the movie itself, I mean, it is beyond twisted, even by today's standards. It is beyond twisted. Like the one scene, I cringe every single time. The one scene where Leatherface picks dude up and then slams him onto that meat hook right through the spine. Every time, it's like, it just really gets me.
Yeah, I'll go with you on that one too, because I remember seeing that in college for like the fourth time, and I had and we were out drinking late in college, and my friend had an offer. It's like, hey, let's watch this. It's Halloween. It's October, and I get off the bus in New York, and my neighborhood wasn't that bad, but where it drops you off at the end, it's kind of a dark alley, and I'm sitting there going, I'm gonna go the long way home. The well lit the very well lit. I'm armed, but I don't think that a chainsaw with what I have is. I don't think I can beat a chainsaw with what I have on me right now. So I'm just gonna go the well lit road.
And the ironic
story, was it?
Yeah, it was it's based off of a real event, but the movie itself is fictitious. It was based off a real person.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, what was his name?
That would be
Oh my God.
the Midvale
Yeah, it was the
slash
guy whose mom pretty much
Ed
programmed
Gein. Ed Gein. Ed
Ed
Gein.
Gein, yeah.
Ed
Yeah, his
Gein.
mom pretty
Gein.
much programmed him to hate all women, and he pretty much went around and killed women the entire time. And yeah, he was vicious.
Yeah, that was who
Wow.
Leatherface was based off of. But the family was actually based off of a family that was in, I think it was Texas, but they were all like cannibals and psychotic and inbred, and it was all
Because
messed
it was
up.
kind of the same take. The family, yeah, it was the same take that Rob Zombie used in The House of a Thousand Corpses. It was the same kind of take off of that
Mm.
cannibalistic
Correct.
family that preyed off of, families that were just, trying to travel through or whatever.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Wow.
that's my pick right there, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I love the movie to death,
That's a good one.
but I cannot. If I have to go to work the next day, I will not watch that movie because I know I'm not going to sleep anytime soon after I watch it. Even
Yeah.
to this day, I mean, seriously.
It is one of those that still holds up to today. I think it's because it doesn't. I actually saw the remake. I own the remake.
I do too.
and that remake is scary, but I can watch it through and be like, oh, it's just a movie. But for some reason, that gritty reality that they captured on film for that time frame will still get you. So I'm with you on that one, Christina.
All right, so that
Yeah, that's a
concludes
good one.
our horror movie section. So next, let's have another little topic of discussion here. So let's talk about the worst superheroes ever created. Okay, everyone wants to glorify the great ones. We've got Iron Man, we've got Wolverine, we've got Superman, we got
Mhm.
Batman, Wonder Woman, Supergirl, Flash, Arrow, and we keep going on and on with them. I mean, but let's think about those really horrible superheroes that, like, you seriously almost have to question, why did you even bother? Like, this is bad. So this is going to be our next point of discussion. So who wants to start this one off?
I'll go ahead, and I'm gonna go with my number 2 pick because I was gonna go with Booster Gold and how he was kind of the glory golden boy of the future and kind of fell flat on his face like too many times. But I was gonna go with the squirrel from the Green Lantern Corps. That was just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And then he dies in the most ridiculous way. He gets run over by a yellow cab, for Christ's sakes. A yellow cab. Not even like a super cab. Not like a robotic, like a transforming robot cab that could stomp him into the ground. No, just a regular ordinary yellow cab that wasn't paying attention. Burp. Road pizza. End of story. Get the next lantern. Get the next ring bearer for this one, buddy. What a bad way to go out. It was just bad all
I
around.
think mine can beat that, but
I even felt bad on how he died. I was like, why did you bother, man? It was a cute concept to get the kids involved, and I guess you just didn't like it, so you ended them in the worst possible way. It just hurt. It hurt.
Yeah.
All right, whoever's next.
I'll go next. The worst one I can think of is actually an X-Men character, and they were called the Maggot.
Oh,
And this guy's superpower,
Ooh.
you know who I'm talking about?
I know who
he
you're
had, he
talking
had these two
about.
worms living inside of him that, in order to change his size, they would crawl out of him, eat a bunch of crap, and then go back inside of him. And depending on what they ate, he would change his size. Like, it was just,
Bad.
it's just,
Yeah, I
It's
remember him. They
Yeah.
haven't used him much, thank God.
no.
Eric?
Eric?
I'm having a tough choice trying to think of who.
All right, well, I'll go, and then you could then give you a chance to think, all right? Mine, okay, this guy was so bad, mind you, that his own comic book, he lasted 2 volumes, or two issues. And that was Skate Man. This is somebody who, fought for justice on not even rollerblades, regular roller skates, and they killed him in a worse way, I think, than the squirrel from the Green Lantern Corps. They killed him he fell down a flight of steps. Like, that's how they killed him. Like, they killed him he just fell down a flight of steps. Like,
Oh, okay. So it's dumb when he dies that way, but when Samuel L. Jackson does it in Unbreakable, it's okay. I get it now. Okay.
Well, that's
Okay, that
different.
makes sense.
Mr. Glass was different. But yeah, I mean, seriously, it's like but he's a superhero too. He's supposed to be like this superhero.
Yeah, true.
And he dies by falling down a flight of stairs. Like, you can't even give him like a decent death. I know his comics sucked, but still. I mean,
The only
Lord.
way I could describe.
I wonder how much
this
those two
character,
issues go for now.
He had the mop, and he all disfigured guy character.
Toxie?
He had a mop.
Are you talking about Toxic
Toxin Man was
Avenger?
it? Yeah, that's a Toxic Avenger. The worst.
I like Toxic personally. Toxic was funny. It's a trauma movie. Like, that's the thing to not take out of context with that. Like, Toxic, that was a trauma movie. It wasn't. It was. Trauma movies are meant to be B-campy, trashy, and just not to be taken seriously and to laugh your butt off the entire time watching it because you're literally going, what is going on right now? Because I own quite a trauma collection. I love trauma movies.
And by the way, I had to look up his name because it was driving me nuts. The Green Lantern Corps squirrel's name is Chip.
Oh,
Chip.
yeah.
Chip.
Yeah.
Chip.
Wow.
I'm trying to find out how much those Skate Man comics go for.
Yeah, I think there's only 2 volumes of it. Like,
yeah.
Literally. You got one yet, Eric?
That's what I was talking about. Toxic Man. Or
Okay,
Avenger.
yeah. All right, so
Okay.
you know who else? I mean, like, some people may disagree with me or something, but I found Jubilee to be kind of, like, ridiculous.
Oh, and the X-Men?
Yeah. I mean, her special power is to shoot fireworks. I mean...
Yeah.
And her name is Juby Lee.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of a bad character, too. It was just like... I mean, the X-Men, now, let's be honest, there were some horrible characters they brought in the X-Men here and there.
There were.
Like... I mean, like Maggot, like you said, Jubilee, and I'm sure there's a lot others we can think of. So, Matt, you said you had another one,
Firefly.
too.
The second...
Firefly?
What was that, Eric?
Firefly? Was it?
Oh, Firefly.
Oh, Batman villain.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you talking about the villain or the hero?
Yeah, because I know this...
Because an origin. X-Men Origin.
Oh, Batman's villain?
No. Firefly and X-Men Origin. It was supposed to be their version of...
Oh.
I know who he's talking about.
Yeah. Well, when I said Firefly and I asked Batman villain, I thought he said Arkham Origin, the video game, because Firefly was in that. And okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah,
I
that
got
Firefly
confused.
was cool.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about now. Yeah.
Total badass.
Yeah, that one's bad. So, what was your other one, Matt?
Oh, I know we were talking about villains, and Brian and I were talking about this before we came back on the air. Was Polka Dot Man? What the hell? What the hell? His whole superhero ability was he changed everything to polka dots. What was his sidekick name? I was waiting for. This is Polka Dot. My sidekick Stripes.
Or Plaid
We
Man.
clash.
We're Plaid Boy.
We clash. That's what we do. Our crime of fashion. Really? Just stop it. What's wrong with you people? I know you get desperate, but come on. Get a real villain. I would have been like, all right, just put on the handcuffs. Just put on the handcuffs. I'm going to take you to Arkham just to save you time, because if you go to jail, you're going to get beat up. We're going to put you in Arkham. At least we can say you're crazy and get you some proper help, okay? Because you don't even deserve to go to jail. Because you're just going to get your butt kicked in jail. I can't put a human being to that much deliberate ass kicking. We're just going to take you to Arkham because it's safer for you.
Oh, we're talking about supervillains now. How about, let me think. How about Crazy Quilt?
I don't think I've heard of that one.
Crazy Quilt was actually an old Batman villain.
He was a Golden Age.
That doesn't surprise me.
He was a Golden Age He wasn't even second rate. He was almost. He was in the same league as Polka Dot Man.
Yeah, because let me see. His vision was altered so he could only see blindingly vivid and distorting colors. So naturally, then he designs himself in a Dayglow suit.
It was
Oh
bad.
my god.
It was bad. It was so bad.
Oh my
And then let's not
God.
forget Turn of the Century. Come on, you're a Marvel guy. Turn of the century, Matt. Come on.
That's almost as bad as when they made what's his name, Professor T. O'Morrow. No offense, he's a good character, but the name T. O'Morrow, come on.
And then I'm going to bring up one of your favorites, but probably one of the worst ones in that series, Matador.
That was an insult.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember.
That was an insult. That was an insult to Hispanic heritage everywhere. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's why
It was a bad trope on top of a bad trope.
Yeah.
But I saved my worst one on my list for the last. And that was another Batman supervillain that was incredibly just awful, and that was Condiment King.
Condiment King.
He used ketchup and mustard as his main weapons.
Oh God, it's more. That was the problem with Golden Age. Had a lot of bad.
Yeah.
I think they
heroes,
were. I think it was. They were more or less trying to. In Golden Age, I think they were really trying to like put a message through with comic books, like, "Hey kids, you eat too much ketchup and mustard, it's bad for you," or something. I don't know.
Oh my God, no! Wow. Hey, what about Spider-Man's the Kangaroo?
Or Grizzly Bear.
Or Grizzly Bear.
Or how about this? I know Matt's
there's
going to get
been
annoyed
so
with
many.
this. What about the movie version of the Mandarin?
Oh, don't even get me started on the movie version of the Mandarin. Oh my God! Oh,
go first. Brian, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Go right
ahead. Go right ahead. You know what? You go ahead. You go ahead. Go ahead, Matt. You go first. I need to breathe.
Okay, I'm going to go off. So if I curse, I apologize in advance, because that was some major crap. That was the biggest freaking kick in the nuts to the entire Iron Man series. You take the biggest, baddest villain in Iron Man history, turn him into a pun. Yeah. You dumb bastards! You deserve it. You should have right on that one. You suck. You suck on ways that just don't even freaking can't be measured by science. You need to get Bill Nye the Science Guy and Newton this kind of crap on the level that sucked, okay? I couldn't even find joy out of this. And you take the freaking chest piece out of Tony Stark. He never did that. What the hell are you thinking? What are you just... I'm going to wake my kids. It's so bad. Okay? I mean, it's just... I lost.
Mandarin in Iron Man 3 was freaking awesome up until the reveal that he was just an actor. I was losing my mind like, dude, this guy is one evil SOB. Like, oh my God. And I even liked the way he was talking, like, you'll never see me coming. You know, and it's just and then, they showed what he really was. He's like, oh, don't go in there. I don't want to go in there for a while, you know, talking about the bath. It's like, what? Are you, what? And then, but the only redeeming quality that, and I think Marvel realized that they messed up with him, because, I mean, that is literally like the Lex Luthor to Superman, the Mandarin to Iron Man. That is literally like his arch nemesis. And like, and I think they fixed it a little bit, because there was a Marvel short that come out. I don't remember the name of it, but you know how Marvel Studios did these like short little like 8-9 minute long videos that were like still part of the universe? They did one with the guy that was the fake Mandarin. He was in prison, and this guy came in to interview him and was talking to him and everything. And it was the same actor and everything. And then they asked him, he's like, well, do you want to get out of here? Or put these on, and gave him some other clothes. He's like, where are we going? And he looked him dead in the eye and he goes, the real Mandarin wants to talk to you. He's pretty ticked off that you stole his identity. So, I mean, that's the only redeeming quality Marvel did as far as the Marvel Cinematic Universe Mandarin goes. That thing,
they would have
Iron Man 3, they needed to. That needed to be that whole thing needed to be an after credit scene.
Yes.
It didn't need to be a short. It needed to be an after credit scene. Even just the part with him interviewing him and just telling him, you know, the real Mandarin wants to see you. He's not real happy with you. That would have made everything better.
That would have given the hope. It would have given the light of hope back.
It would have. But see, now the problem is, because they did this, yes, they acknowledged that the real Mandarin is out there, but now that they did this, you can't bring in the real Mandarin. You can't bring the real one into the cinematic universe now because it's going to be a cop out and it's going to be a copy, and you just can't do it now. They missed an opportunity with him. I think they literally threw away Iron Man's top
villain,
top rogue. Yeah, they literally just threw him away.
And they can't even, and even in the movie, if they could bring that in, they kind of ruined it when the guy, I only watched it once. Not Justin Hammer.
Iron Man 3 is my least favorite Marvel movie ever.
The
Marvel Cinematic Universe movie.
Yeah, good point.
In the MCU, that's my least favorite. Spider-Man 3, man. Oh my God.
Oh, let's not get started on Lightspeed.
Oh no, Spider-Man. Oh no, you only have to watch Spider-Man 1. It's the same 3 movies. They keep killing the villains in the end.
Yeah, well, I did like 2 better than 1 because I got a soft spot for Doc Ock. That's just me. But Spider-Man 3, man, that was wow. Sam Raimi should have moved on from Spider-Man after 2.
Yeah, it was a dead deal. It wasn't even a done deal. It was a dead deal. Because how many times can Peter struggled with his powers all through the series. We get that, but you didn't have to make 3 movies about it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right?
No kidding.
That's why I'm looking forward to Homecoming. I'm looking forward to Homecoming.
Oh, me too.
It's gonna fix it, and that's all we're hoping is, fingers crossed, is that it will fix it. And the kid, they finally got a kid who's the right age for Peter Parker, because a lot of people don't realize Peter started his career at 14. He wasn't a real hero yet until he was about 16.
Yep. No, you're completely right about that. And I mean, they messed. I grew up watching the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. So for the first part of my life, Tobey Maguire was Peter Parker, you know? And then, but when you're that age, you don't realize the age difference. Okay, cool. He's playing a high school student, but you don't realize he's still playing Spider-Man when he's in his 30s.
I know.
But as you get older, you're like, well, that didn't make any sense. But at the time, you're like, okay, it's cool. But then you get Andrew Garfield in for the Amazing Spider-Man, who I liked more as a Peter Parker than I did Tobey Maguire.
Yeah,
but
everyone said the same thing.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was so bad.
I kind of liked it. Some of the scenes could have been fixed, like the whole scene with the rhino. The whole scene with the rhino.
Yeah, the rhino. Yeah,
they could have done a lot better with that. And Electro, his origin story.
They shouldn't have went with the ultimate version of Electro.
The original one wasn't that bad. He was just a power worker who got cheated and then got zapped and got the powers.
Yeah.
Okay, that was kind of instant villain mixture. That's the easy comic book. Hardworking guy gets screwed over, gets traumatic accident, says, "Hell, screw justice. I want revenge." Okay, we can understand that. There's nothing wrong. That's what makes a villain. Keep it. But the way they made Jamie Foxx played the right character, but that wasn't not Matt Gargan. It was not Matt Dugan. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Electro.
Yeah. They just, man, amazing. 2 for me, man, was just because I loved the first Amazing Spider-Man, the first one with Tobey Maguire, or not Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. The first one with Andrew Garfield, I loved it. And Lizard was an awesome villain. That was one we'd never seen before on film, I mean, and they did it right. I mean, and Emma Stone was an amazing Gwen Stacy,
I love the fact that they brought her in.
Oh, me too, instead of Mary Jane, because I was so sick of seeing Mary Jane. I wanted to see more Gwen Stacy. And when the set photos released of her wearing the purple dress and the green jacket, I knew her time was coming.
No, actually,
I knew it was.
When they were on the Brooklyn Bridge, I was with my friend Cassie because she's a big Spider-Man fan too, and she knows.
Was it reversed?
Huh?
Well, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, when I saw the Brooklyn Bridge, and I saw Spider-Man chasing after her, I was like, I got real quiet in the theater, and I started slinking down in my seat, and I was just like watching the screen, and she saw him. She saw me getting she was like, you know how I get excited, and you guys can see the film on here, how I get about these movies. And then all of a sudden, I changed demeanors immediately. And she's like, "What's wrong?" And she goes, "I was like, just pay attention. It's not gonna." I was like, "This is gonna get bad real quick." Mm-hmm. And I actually started to tear up because I knew it was coming, and I remember Peter's reaction and everything like that. And And this is one of the things. This is a defining moment in comic book history. This is when they said this was like the last Age of Innocence issue, if they will. When Gwen died,
Wow.
that was it. That was it.
Yep.
They've always talked about it and they showed it in flashbacks. But this is she was about to, this was it. And
Yep.
I started to cry. I was like, when she took that plunge, I actually almost looked away from the screen. It hit me that hard because I knew what Peter was going to be going through. I knew this was it.
Yep.
This was Peter getting that push, even more so that he needs to be Spider-Man. Spider-Man is needed in New York. They need him. He is needed in the world.
Yeah. And then just the details of that scene too, the way they shot it, it was just, the sound that you hear when he stops her.
Oh,
You know what I mean? That blood curdling, like spine tingling.
yes.
You hear that sound because when I went and saw that in theaters, there wasn't a sound in the theater when she was falling. And then the second that web hit her and she stopped, all you heard across the entire audience was this audible gasp and nothing.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'm getting goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Like, it's just, God, and
Like I said, it was. I know we're all getting to that point where sorry.
Oh,
I didn't.
God.
Oh, see, oh man, I hope everyone's watching this on YouTube. I got Brian. So why do you think I'm leaning back, man? I'm like, I'm trying to keep the tears up in my eyes,
Oh, God, man. Anyway, but no, like you were talking earlier, Tom Holland as Spider-Man, I think he's going to nail it. So far he has. Really, we've only seen him in Civil War and the trailers for Homecoming, but so far, man, from what I've seen, he's nailed it. It's like 5 minutes of screen time, but still, I'm impressed. So, I can't wait for Homecoming. I just can't. And I'm hoping we see the Iron Spider at some point. The Iron Spider's got to make an appearance with Tony Stark.
There's a rumor. They said
No,
that
you know what? No, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
I don't want to know.
Okay. We'll leave it. We'll leave it alone. We'll leave it alone. Okay, I promise. We'll leave it alone. We'll leave it alone.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
All right, Eric. What do you got for villains? If you got any.
Oh God, it's gonna make me think.
I'm sorry, man.
Villain. I'm gonna have to say Sandman.
Sandman?
Sandman, really? Why?
I don't know, just something about it, the character. I grew up watching the Spider-Man cartoon on TV. I don't know. I guess it was the actor playing him.
Yeah, that could. Yeah, that's possible.
Okay. Yeah, he was kind of mechanical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, you think about any villain. Any villain has the potential to be great. Look at Joker. If you break down Joker and just describe what he is, he's a clown. Okay, depending on which version of the Joker you're talking about. Because if you're talking like George Romero, or not George Romero, was that his name? Romero's? Caesar Romero. Thank you, George Romero. I'm thinking zombies. Yeah, Caesar Romero. If you're thinking his Joker, when you say he's just a clown, that's stupid. That's just. It's the complete opposite as what Batman represents, but still, it's really stupid when you think about it. But then, if you give the character the right flavor, like the psychotic twist that they've given Joker over the years, it can make it something really special. Like even the polka dot. You could have given him this psychotic twist or this like in-depth backstory, and he could have been one of the greatest villains of all time. It's just the way they've handled him.
Good point.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to ask a question to the panel. Rate all the Jokers. Rate them. All of them. Talk about from the 60s. Jack
Ooh, that's a good
Nicholson,
question.
And Heath Ledger and Jared Leto. How would you
Are you
rank
talking
them?
about Caesar? You're talking about Caesar, Jack. Let me just make sure. You're talking about the movie The movie and television series Jokers is what you're talking about.
So we're talking Romero, Nicholson, Ledger, and Leto.
Correct.
Hmm.
Those four. Oh wait, can we throw Mark Hamill in there as
Oh,
I
please,
you
we
Joker?
have to. We have
that's
to.
not, but that's not fair. See, I love
That's
him.
not fair.
That's not fair because everyone loves him separately from all the others because we get his voice, and he put the
Still Joker to me.
exactly
Oh.
exactly that's not
Okay.
fair.
Okay, we'll go actors then.
Yeah.
We got to go with actors because we all love Mark. We all love Mark Hamill. When we when we close our eyes and think of the Joker's voice, we think of his voice.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go that.
Okay.
All right, I'm writing mine down. You guys want to go first? I don't care.
Go ahead, Matt.
Okay. I got to go in this specific order. I got to go with Jack Nicholson is my favorite for actors because him playing psychotic, he does crazy very well. Just crazy is what he does very well. Crazy, mean, and just out of control is Jack Nicholson. Joker, perfect. After him, I gotta say Heath Ledger comes second because he did define the role very well for the era. But he made the Joker his own. But the Joker that I grew up with that I liked was the gadgety Joker. I liked the explosive whoopee cushions and the electro zapper and the acid flower and the gun that extends from like beyond and he hits the bat plane. I love that. I love the gag Joker and the crazy Joker. He did a great crazy Joker. Where was the joking? Where's the little bit of comedy to the murder and the mayhem? Yep. Then after him, I gotta go with Jared Leto because Jared Leto, he did great, but I think he did represent a new modern Joker kind of well. But once again, he was lacking the flair of the Joker, the comic-y side. And then finally, I gotta go with Cesar Romero. He was the original, and he did the jokes, but Jack put the crazy in it. Jack put the crazy. Caesar did wacky, but not crazy. Yeah. And there is a difference. Yeah. And that's the way I put him.
All right. Well, I'll go next on this one because it should be fun. See, my list is going to be a little bit different. Well, that's the whole idea. My favorite Joker still has to be Heath Ledger's Joker. I mean, he just embodied that like psychoticness and chaos, just which you expect in Joker, just so perfectly. I mean, like you never got a straight answer out of him for starters. Like how many different stories of how he got his scars do we hear during that one movie? It had to have been 4 or 5 totally different stories. Following
2.
I thought it was more than that, but because the one about his wife.
Because he talked about his wife, and then he talked about his father.
Okay.
How he was a drunk. Yeah.
Followed closely after Heath would be Caesar. I mean, he's the original Joker to me. I mean, I grew up watching the '60s Batman. I have the '60s Batman movie on DVD, and the movie cracks me up every single time. Followed by that would be Nicholson, because Nicholson he had that more serious Joker. He liked more of a mobster style, but he was still crazy. Like, yeah, he still had the props. He still had, and it was still very entertaining. And it's Jack Nicholson. I mean, let's just put it where it's at. And then last up would be Jared Leto. Not because he did a bad job. I mean, he followed the Suicide Squad. Everyone's read any of the Suicide Squad comics. He followed the Suicide Squad Joker very well. Like, scaringly well, but it's not a Joker a lot of people are used to. And it's not what when we close our eyes and think of the Joker, it's not what we think of. We don't think of this menacing, the menacing version of Joker with silver teeth and more of a serious attitude. That's not what we think of. And that's why I have to mark Leto as last. Not because he did a bad job at it, because it's not a Joker we're used to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Brian.
My list is actually identical to Matt's. I wrote them down, and then he started going through them, and I was like, "Yep, bam, 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 bam." But like, Nicholson was the one I grew up with when in the early '90s with the Keaton Batmans, with the Tim Burton Batman. That's the Joker I remember, and that smile, and That's my number one. And two is Ledger. I know a lot of people say like you, Christina. It's he's the greatest Joker ever. He's up there, but to me that wasn't the Joker. That I've come to know. You know what I mean? Like from the comics and from the Batman animated series and the games. It's just not. It was a great rendition of the character. Don't get me wrong. It was creepy. It was. I mean, it was dark. It was awesome. But Nicholson still beats him in my book. Leto was number 3. Leto was one I was really looking forward to. I'm a big 30 Seconds to Mars fan anyway. So when Jared Leto when Jared Leto got cast as Joker, I was like, oh my god, yes. And then I saw Suicide Squad and was really let down by it. And then especially his Joker. I mean, some of the jokes he was cracking, or it's like when they're on the helicopter and it gets shot with the missile, and he's like, "This bird's cooked," and it's like, okay, really? That's a little, like. And then the fourth one for me is Romero, just because I know of Romero. It's just I haven't watched a lot of the original Batman series. I've seen some of it, but not a lot of that Joker. I didn't care for the whole face paint over the mustache thing. It kind of threw me off a little bit. But I mean, Nicholson as the gangster, Ledger as the anarchist, Leto as the psycho, and Romero as the clown. That's my list.
All right, Eric, your turn, and then we have to go take a break after that. So,
All right, so definitely it's Jack Nicholson for me. Heath Ledger is second, and I'm gonna have Caesar third, and I have Leto last. I mean, Caesar, like, he was just funny. You know what I mean? The whole cast and him, he just made the Joker. It's like there's no one can ever top the original Joker. But the reason why I had Jack Nicholson first is because, I mean, for anybody to try to do Joker's left, Jack Nicholson just tore it up. I'm sorry. To do the Joker left, he really nailed it. That's how I feel about all 4 Jokers.
okay.
The laugh.
All right, so we need to take a break now. We will be back in a few minutes after this song from Radiocast FM. And we're back once again on Breaking the Fourth Wall, and I hope you enjoyed the music they played, because we sure did, even though we have no idea what they played, but that's all good. And we are back, and we are going to talk about our movie picks and upcoming events and fun stuff of that nature. So first, our movie picks of this week are going to be obscure sci-fi. In other words, sci-fi movies that are really good, but however, people may have forgotten them. So we're going to let Brian go first, seeing that he is our guest this week.
I'm going to say, I don't know how not well known it is. Around here, it's actually pretty well known. Fifth Element with Bruce Willis. And I freaking love that movie top to bottom. I could watch it so many times in a row, and it never even gets old, And it's just, I mean, even Chris Tucker in that movie was freaking hilarious. Like, oh my, Colban Dallas,
Ruby Rod,
just freaking awesome, God,
I have one thing to say about that movie.
And actually,
multipass.
Yeah, multipass. Colban Dallas. One interesting trivia fact about that movie, though, before we move on, the whole opera scene. You guys may already know this, but the whole opera scene where she's singing. When they shot that scene, no human being could hit notes that high at the time. So a lot of the notes you hear in that are actually a flute, somebody playing the flute to hit some of those notes. Nowadays, there are people who have exercised their voice that can actually sing that. But back then, a lot of what you heard when those really, really high notes hit, that was just somebody playing a regular old flute.
Wow, I did not know that.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, I love that freaking movie. I mean, it just, and the one thing, like, it could be, if somebody asked me for a light, and I was like, Colban, my man, you got fire? You give me the firestone, I have no fire. Father, you smoke? I can't help it. I love that movie so freaking much. It's way up there on my list, man. It's up there with Star Wars as far as I'm concerned. I freaking love
That
Fifth
movie is
Element.
incredible. I love that movie too. So I definitely, I'm gonna have to watch it again this week now because I just love that movie. All right, Matt, your turn.
I'm gonna go with The Last Starfighter. It came out during the early '80s, and it came out around the time of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Unfortunately, it didn't get much love, but once it hit VHS, it became a cult. It became a bit of a cult classic, especially for us budding gamers in the early days of arcade games. It was just perfect. It was a dream come true for a lot of kids. They played a game, got the high score, and then they got to save the galaxy. I mean, what's better than that at that age, you know?
Even though he just willingly jumped in the car of a creepy old guy. But anyway.
Oh yeah, there was some mixed messages there.
Well, actually, fun trivia fact about Last Starfighter, that was one of the first movies to extensively use CGI in it.
Mm-hmm.
In its early form.
And you know something? Even watch the
Yep.
movie today, and it's still, the effects still are not horrible. Like, they're dated, yes, but they're
Mhm.
not horrible. Like, it's not some
You can
of
see
the
the-
movies where you know, from the 80s where you watch it and you're like, oh my god, these effects are terrible. Is that a Christmas tree light I see right there? You know, they actually weren't that bad. All right, Eric, your turn.
Yeah.
And my pick this week is Starman, a very good classic sci-fi movie. Involves a lady husband who had recently passed away, and this, I guess, space orb came down and alien ship and morphed into her husband. You know, and she was trying to help him to get back to his ship to go back home. I'd love that movie still. I can watch that over and over. That's another one.
Yeah, that's with what's his name? I could see him in my head. I can't remember
Jeff-
his name.
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges. Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
that was another great movie. And my pick of the week will be Flight of the Navigator. The movie not a lot of people remember is a story about a kid who ended up being in the care of NASA and finds out he has this link to this alien spacecraft. I mean, it's one of those movies I remember growing up with as a kid, and you don't really hear about it anymore. But it's still just an amazing movie. If you can find it, definitely watch it, because it's not an easy movie to find either. So,
No, it's not.
Starman is another one that's not easy to find, unfortunately. But yeah, they're all really good movies this week. You got some movies to watch, everyone out there. So listen to it. So watch them, please, because they're great movies. All right, so now it's our time where let's make a quick announcement. Please, this Saturday, Breaking the Fourth Wall, we'll be making our first ever public appearance over at Comic Collections in Feasterville, Pennsylvania. I shall be there. Matt will be there. Eric, you'll be there, right?
Oh, definitely.
Eric will be there, and I know Chris will be there. And we will be there at 2 p.m. So this is on Saturday, so do not miss us. It's going to be a blast. We're going to be talking about all kinds of fun stuff. We're going to be doing a live filming of the show that our audience may be able to participate in. So it will be really fun. All right.
And doing questions and answers.
What?
We're going to be doing questions and answers for prizes.
Yeah, so definitely come out. It'll just be a really good time. And Comic Collections is a great little comics book store. So, well, I don't think it's that little, but it's a great comic book store anyway. All right, so how can they contact everyone? Eric, go first, please.
Okay, you can contact me on Facebook at Eric J. Batista Sr. And I'm also on the Xbox One at Smoke 1437.
Okay, Matt?
You can find me at Matthew Cruz on Facebook, Matt with 2 T's, and you can also find me you can email me on Fox C with 2 C's 77. Sorry, Fox C with 2 X's. Sorry, I messed that up. 77@gmail.com. And also, I was discussing this with the crew, and I will announce this as well. My gaming XP is still going to be going forward with the idea, and on Saturday during the live broadcast, I will be announcing the date of the gaming XP. You guys are, so I hope everyone that tunes in, listens. I hope you give my show a shot. We'll be doing a live podcast on YouTube, based off Pathfinder, the original version, and we'll be doing you guys will actually be able to see a live game being performed by my fellow panelists, and I hope we all have a good time, and I hope everyone enjoys my storyline.
Okay, Brian, how can people get a hold of you?
You guys can find me at the Star Wars Canon Library on YouTube. Just actually got my review up of the novel Thrawn. Make sure you guys check that out. You can also find me at www.starwarscanonlibrary.com, where I've got the entire chronological list of timeline canon now. Trying to get reviews out for everything still. If you guys have any questions for Star Wars, anything really, it's just Star Wars Canon Library at gmail.com, and there's a Facebook page under the same name.
Awesome. So definitely check that out, guys. And if anyone wants to contact me, you can contact me on Facebook, Christina Tali Warburton. That's Tali, not Taly. I'm also on Xbox Live at Kayva, Kayva, space Biodira. So that's Kayva Biodira. You can also find me streaming on Twitch at Kayva_Biodira. And you can also catch me every Wednesday night on Radiocast FM with my radio show, Eclectica. And of course, you can always find me here. So, that brings us to the end of the show. Like I said, remember, catch us on Saturday, because we will be out and we will be in force and we will be having a blast. So you don't want to miss us. So it'll be one fun event. So until next time, it's good night from Breaking the Fourth Wall. And we will catch you next week. So everyone say goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Esta mañana.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with
Oh,
you.
yes.